Today's topic is Rockwell Component Configuration Tool, a live demonstration, and the presenter is Chris Starge. Chris is an inside sales team lead working with Revere Electric for 10 plus years and works with customers daily to configure and select components for project and solutions. The tool that we will be using today is ProposalWorks, and Chris has a broad base of experience using this tool. He has built up a list of topics to show during this live demonstration, covering many of the questions that come up daily from customers. We'll turn things over to Chris.
Thank you, Jim. Good morning, everybody. I hope by the end of this demonstration, you're able to have a bit more of an understanding on how to use ProposalWorks, whether it's to build a bill of material for a project or just exploring solutions for a specific situation. ProposalWorks is probably one of the first tools I started using when I started out at our will call counter 7 years ago. And it's a user-friendly program once you start using it on a regular basis. Since I was first trained, there have been many changes to the program as well. With that being said, I'm assuming that everybody that is involved or on this call has ProposalWorks on their desktops. This screen here is our ProposalWorks setup. We've got, once the ProposalWorks program is started, we'll take if you want to follow lead and kind of guide yourself as I go, feel free to do that. If you're a first-time user, or if you come across anything that might be a question, put it in the chat like Jim said. So once you have this program loaded, you're going to have all these these tabs up here. The one that you will build your bill of material out of is the Home tab, which is where you'll have your product configurator to the left, along with your product groups. We've got our File tab, which is where you can save. That's your main tab that you're going to use to save your proposals. There's the User tab is your preferences and what you would like to have on your ProposalWorks settings. These are what I use on a regular basis. Not even sure if I set them up. Some of these might already be set up when you install it. If not, you will have to provide your preferred settings and save them. The Customers tab is not one that is really used that often for what we're doing here, as well as the Project. This Project tab is often done through here and can be transferred through Excel once you're done. Your Documents tab is one you will be using, and you will be able to, this is where you'll be able to find specific documents on the products you've selected here in the Home tab. There are often times when some product spec sheets will not be available through here. So if you do come across a part that does not have these documents or any documents, you'll be able to retrieve those through Rockwell's knowledge base, which we will provide a link for at the end of this as well. The Tools tab is probably the next tab used the most often because of their Crossworks. Crossworks is a database that Rockwell has that saves. They've got the competitor part numbers that you can use and enter here to provide a Rockwell part number, as well as an old Rockwell number that may have been obsolete. Then they'll let you know if it's a direct cross or what kind of notes and changes are with this part that are different. Which is also information that you could get through knowledge base. And our last tab here is our Help tab. The Help tab is a good resource for videos and documents related to the overall ProposalWorks program. You'll be able to find specific instructions and help videos that are for new users or anyone wanting a refresher. This video here is how to choose products and add them to your bill of material, which we're going to provide you during this demonstration. But this here, if you ever have time, I would go in there and just kind of check these out and for your reference. Before we start, Jim, do you have anything that I may have missed before we start using the product configurator?
No, Chris, I think you're good. I was just typing in the link for the software, so I will try to keep up with some of the links that we're referencing, and I'll follow that
Okay.
up with the knowledge base piece. So thanks.
Okay. Attached, we've got a little generic Excel sheet here with some parts that we wanted to use for this demonstration. Like I had said here, this home tab will allow me and anybody using this program to look at possible solutions or in-house solutions that if this part is not available. I'm sure a lot of people here might be able to see their pricing on our e-store, and then availability. So if I were to say I need a 100, if I get a call that I need a 100C23 David 10, I would put this in that search bar, and it would give me all the information on this. Let's say I do not have this in stock, and you guys, and I have a customer that needs this right away, and needs something to get them up and running. I'm going to obviously stay within the 23 amp and not go lower. Same size frame contactor, but here I'm going to have the main options that are part of that part number. I got one normally open contact block. I've got other options here that I can check. Maybe if we had the 4 normally opened, I could see if we've got this part number in stock, or anybody using our e-store could see that there's just giving them 3 additional normally open contacts instead of just the 1 that is on that contactor. They just have 3 free contact blocks or auxiliary contacts. I apologize. So here, maybe we don't have a 23 amp contactor, but let's see if we've got a 30 amp. This is where you get to play with the program and kind of see what works best for your application. Contactors, push buttons, those are some of the things that we'll go over a couple more of these that are probably in stock in a different way depending on how you order it. This 22 millimeter contact block or push button, for example, I'm going to paste. It is a kitted part number that comes from Rockwell. Often, if we do not have stock on this, we get asked, well, what do you have in stock that could work? Well, chances are we have every one of these parts in stock, but they are not kitted. We would have to sell these right now. These part numbers, this part number is a composited part number. So if we were to click on separate, and all of our information still stays the same, we can accept that, and you will see that all the parts that make up that kit and their quantities right here are most likely in stock. So you would, instead of having a purchase order for 1 line, you would have 4 lines here for these 4 part numbers, not including this one. So it's very helpful from a sales standpoint or a solutions person that, all right, what do I got that they can get today and pick up at our will call or have tomorrow? That's my main reason for using ProposalWorks. Everybody else is going to have something different. Just minimize this again. All right. So let's say we do not have, or let's say I have a need for a push button, but I don't know which one to select. Here on the side, we have keyword filters. Let's just put in push button. Here, ProposalWorks will drop down all your options for push buttons. As you can see, we've got our 16 millimeter options, the 22 millimeter options, which is what we just put over in the 800F part number over here. And then you scroll down and you're going to go to the 30 millimeter push buttons. Here we go, your 800Ts. Here we can go and pick whatever we want based on the application. So let's just go with a non-illuminated Momentary contact block or push button. Hazardous location, I'm going to assume no, but there are options. No guards for this. Maybe you have a need for guards. Your push buttons, you're going to have your flush head, extended head, mushroom heads, booted. It's all up to you on what you're looking for. Anything that is in blue, dark blue, is preferred availability. It does not mean we have it in stock. It means most likely Rockwell may have it in stock if we do not. Every distributor is going to have different inventory based on their customers and their needs. For this push button, we will just go with a black one and standard contact blocks and normally open. So here, I've got a push button, which I will tell you, I do not have this in stock. But if I were to go and do user assembled, which is the same for the 22 millimeter contact push button kit, user assembled is the same as making it a separate list of parts. They don't have a breakdown, a user assembled button to click on. You'd have to go and change the change that to composite for to individually. But anyways, here I'm going to go user assembled and accept between 800 HAR2 as well as the contact block. And I don't have our program up for this for my inventory, but I can tell you I do have those two parts in stock. So it's just one way to kind of have it work out for what's best for you and what you're working on. Leave these up. Jim, do you have anything before I move on?
Chris, do I have to know whether I have dashes? Like I see dashes in the part numbers and things like that. Do I need to know what those to put those in or not?
Perfect. You do not need to worry about the dashes. I will show you here. I am going to put in an 800T-A2. Copied and paste, it pulls it up. I also have this button without the dash, and it will pull up the same part number. So dashless, dashed, the only time you're really going to have a problem is if you have any other characters before or after it that are not related to ProposalWorks. For example, if I do AB 800TA2, I do not get anything. I get a pop-up that says, enter product information for temporary part. Here, this tells me that that's not a good part, so I'm just going to cancel. And might be an extra character. Sometimes you might find a dot somewhere hidden on your spreadsheet. Well, get rid of those extra points or the dashes. If you wanted to do just the numbers and letters, you'll be able to still get ProposalWorks to pull that up for you.
If I just type in 800T, does it pull up the configurator?
Good question. Let's delete a couple of these real quick. Now, if I put in 800T here, I do get a pop-up that says this requires complete configuration. So once you do that, it will migrate over to the left and just go under your keyword filters, what we were just working on, and it'll take you over here to the 800T selections. And then you'll be able to choose if you want a push button or a selector switch. Your specialty operators, which could be your potentiometers, are very common. If you have a partial, like a series number, you can put that in the add catalog part number and it will generate this, or you could put it in here as well, up at the top.
Excellent, thanks.
It's similar to a keyword. You're going to come across a lot of parts that we have that maybe Rockwell has changed to be discontinued. We're going to put in this panel view right here, which provides us with a suggested replacement and also provides the information on when this was discontinued, which was December of 2021. Let's just click on replace. And as if you can see, it did provide another discontinued panel view part number. It tells you your if it's available and the status of this. Discontinued. So with that being said, that is where we would go, and this link will be provided to our product lifecycle status page. Here, if you select a part number that has been discontinued, let's see if this one provides a breakdown. You will see that it provides a suggested replacement. Now, we know that this is the part number ProposalWorks gave us, and I have to do another search. Here is where you'll be able to go in there and configure the product online with their online configurators. This is your online link for ProposalWorks. It's not as user-friendly, I would say personally. It's kind of hard to follow, but you have that as well. When you this is stating to go to the Panel View Plus performance terminals, which will also give you the link to those documents as well. We will have these at the end of the session as well for everybody to save.
Yeah, I put the links for both the software and then the page you were just on. I put it in the announcements on the for the presentation. Perfect. Here. So
another thing that another thing that we like. Let's see, we've got a end of life item. Let's go off of this. These are our PowerFlex drives. All right, let's see, discontinued at this time until there's a date. They really didn't have anything, but it still shows end of life. We can still use the product lifecycle status, which is telling us it gives us our end of life option. This is what the yellow is. We've got end of life, discontinued, or if it's active, or active mature, which means it's still a good product, but eventually this will be getting phased out. All this is just another link that provides you all the information that a lot of our specialists use to go find it. A lot of that comes natural to them. But if you're not somebody that's familiar with it, this is the perfect place to go for finding out your options if you cannot get a hold of somebody at Revere.
Hey, Chris, I see you have a spreadsheet open. What if and you're kind of copying one by one, what if you had like a spreadsheet of parts and you just wanted to bring it all in at one time? Is that something you can do?
Yes. Let's go in here and import. Let's see here. All right. This is working on a different screen right now, but we will get there.
And also while you're doing that, when you import, showing just how to do a copy paste as well would be, if you have a broader file, both options are available.
I'm having trouble loading this in there right now, but we can get the documents for that. The instructions on how to load that after. Here we go. This is where we can export, but I wanted to load it. Open. Stop. Yes, it's not retrieving that, so we'll have to come back to that. There is a way to load this in there into a from Excel into ProposalWorks, and it'll generate pretty much your bill of material here. What do we have next, Jim? What have I not covered?
Well, I think that you've done a nice job with the lifecycle status. I think we are at the kind of importing and exporting. So if you want to go through the exporting of the bombs, I know we're having trouble importing, but maybe transition to the export of this bomb here.
Let's go and where is my proposal? Here we go. Up here is where you can generate your documents. Oh, that's why I wasn't even clicking it. So I can save with my magnifier or with the disk your proposal. I'm just going to save this to my desktop. Demo proposal. Oh. And let this go to my desktop. Once you do that, it'll save with the icon for your desktop for ProposalWorks, but it'll have your file saved with the name. I used demo proposal, for example. This here, I've often people have sent this through to us through ProposalWorks, and then we've had to open it up for them. This is how it pops up. Equipment list. Here we go. Perfect. This was the import that was not working earlier. All right. So if you want it, this is where you're going to save it. You can save your documents or your entire Excel sheet right directly from here. That way, when you're done, you can clear out all of your parts that you went through. Here you go. So it's
Nice.
it's pretty easy. That didn't take much time for that to come over.
Right. Thanks. Thanks, Chris. What if I had to cross, like, is there across from a part that I know, like Crossworks, you had shown in those top icons some of the tool buttons.
Yes. Here, whether it's a manufactured part, a manufacturer competitor part number, or a Rockwell part number that is old, this should provide, obviously there's going to be parts missing, but it will provide the list of closest crosses along with the product notes if there's any differences. Let's see what I've got for a cross here, just to see here. I want to see if this gives me. If you do have one that it does not have anything that comes up like this, this just says that there's nothing that's saved for them. It does not mean that there's not a cross for with Rockwell. It just means that there's not one saved in there with any notes. So if one of our specialists were to come across this is one where we could send this to Rockwell to update, which is a feature I really like with Rockwell, because at the end of the day, there's going to be things we come across every day that they might not be aware of, a solution that they have. I know the 140M series -C2E-B40. Well, that cross didn't come up either, but this is a old part number, and usually it will give you the direct cross over here. So I'm thinking they have not updated every one of those part numbers. All right. So we could go here for that. I do want to show one more great feature about this, and this would be our partner library. You'll see our technology partner library, which lists all of our partners. One that comes to mind right now that we'll use is Hoffman, because everybody needs enclosures. So I'm going to go and select a wall mount enclosure here in this selection wizard. Oh, the concept series. So this will also add our partner products to your bill of material. So it'll even ask, are you looking for a product based on material type or NEMA rating? Well, we're going to go with the material type for this. We'll go mild carbon steel. Standard. Just go with a NEMA 12. No window. Single door. 20-inch height. We'll go 20 and a 8-inch depth. Well, basic here. This is a common enclosure we would have. We can drop down and see the panel that comes with it, or the conductive panel. So you can select which one you would like to go with. I'm just going to stick with the standard panel. So if we add that, it should apply. Yep. So this should go. This should be a very good tool for us, for you as well. And a lot of people that I've talked to while preparing for that, they said they didn't even know some of these companies were our partners. So that's even better. Jamie, got anything else?
No, for sure. I think you look at that, the Encompass partners, it's quite an extensive list. So there's a lot there to kind of go through, and showing that enclosure is a nice overview of that.
Well, and a lot of manufacturers that we're all seeing lead time issues with, this gives you the opportunity to go, let's just say fuses. We've got Bussmann, Mersen, little fuse. Now you've got your options there to say, all right, well, you don't have the Mersen in stock, or what about the Bussmann or the little fuse? And it gives them the opportunity to kind of take control and find those part numbers and get that information as well directly from this program.
So Chris, you did a nice job of showing how we enter part numbers, both with dashes and without, and how to kind of go through the configurator, looking at keywords and catalogs. One of the other items that's available to in ProposalWorks are the wizards, and I know it can take a lot of. There's a number of wizards in there. Could you at least show the wizard for, I know the VF, the drives, if at least pulling that up, and maybe we won't go too in depth,
Sure.
but to at least make
I
people
get what
aware
you're
of the
saying.
wizards. Yep.
Let's go up wizards. So if you select WIZ, this will give you your wizards. And you said you wanted to do a drive selection, correct?
Yep.
Just
And I think if we just kind of start at the high level, where you're not sure what drive, right? If I'm not sure, I know Rockwell has a number of drives, but I'm not exactly sure even which family, right? And so the wizard helps you select that.
All right, sorry, can you hear me? I lost some sound for a minute.
Yep, I can hear you now, Chris.
All right, I kind of did not hear the rest of your story, or your question. Can you go over that one more time?
Sure, Chris. I think pulling up the drives wizard is a great tool if I know I need to use a drive, but I'm not exactly sure which family amongst the drives. And maybe we don't have too much time to get into great depth on the wizards, but at least making people aware that the wizards do exist, like you've pulled up here.
Yep.
And so that was the question.
With the drive selection wizard, that's where, based on what you're looking for, it'll tell you PowerFlex 4 is a general purpose drive, available 5 horsepower at 480 volt. Use wizard for power limits or other voltages. It will give you a breakdown. Like you said, we have a lot of options and a lot of customers that have different applications. So this is one where they would have to select it. But let's just go for it. Do you have any specific things you want me to select to kind of get a feel for this?
No, I think if you just kind of looking at that left side, voltage class gets into a little bit of the
Yep. So let's say we want a 480 volt 3-phase. Power rating, I need a 7.5 horse. Open style, because we'll put it in there. We're not needing it's not required a filter. So we've got variable torque, normal duty, constant torque, or heavy duty. We'll just go with the normal duty on this one. No brake needed. Now my application, this is where the customer will need to know if they've, what they're controlling, speed, torque, a lot of different options, but this will help you. Right now, we're just going to go with speed and torque. Performance level, let's go with open loop.
save torque off. My application doesn't require an auxiliary power supply. Here we go, advanced, these are application functions. What am I using it for? Let's just go with a crane and hoist function. I do not need device net, but Ethernet is common. So now if you see, me selecting this, these are my two options for PowerFlex drives based on the criteria that I put in. If you recall, before I had this, I want to just run this through you. If I select this now, this is all the PowerFlex drives. From our 4s all the way down to our 700s. So once you start breaking down the data that you need for your application, this list will get smaller and direct you towards the drives that are needed for your application.
Nice. I think that's good. And like I said, it's probably one of those things that you look at the number of wizards, it could take up quite a bit more time, but just wanted to give folks a high level overview that the wizards are there. You can always call your Revere specialist, and if there's a particular topic, a particular product, and we can go into more detail on those. So perfect. Yeah. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Our last topic was mobile apps on like a smartphone app, either on Android or a smartphone. And we don't need to show that here. I did add those links to the seminar. So that leaves our last topic is show where we can access help documents and videos. So how if somebody wants to do a little bit of learning on their own, Chris, where would we go? Where would they go for that?
Right here, like I had mentioned earlier, we can go to this help tab and we've got videos. Rockwell's done a good job of providing videos as well as like little documents on anything specific. If you're looking for this action for spare parts, covers how to add spare parts for selected items. A lot of the stuff you'll probably do out of this video here. But this is where you're going to get a lot of the basic the tutorials on how to do things. For anybody that is on this call today that did not have that might have known about what I have shown you guys might already have that stuff down. You might want to explore the other options in the library just in case there's things out there that might get you become more an advanced user on this this program. But this here in the help tab will have all that information for you, as well as your documents as well that go with them.
All right. Well, thanks, Chris. Is there anything more you want to talk about, or I think we're at our half-hour mark, which is a good stopping point. I don't see any messages.
No questions.
No questions in the box. So I suppose with that, I'll just say thank you again for Chris for sharing your time and experience. For those watching who want further discussions around this topic, ProposalWorks, the products within it, the wizards, reach out to your Revere Electric account manager, or many of you know our specialists. Once we sign off, we ask that you take just a minute to complete a survey. Your feedback really does help us continue to deliver informative content around topics that we feel are helpful. This seminar is an example of that. We got feedback around a little more detailed topic around ProposalWorks. So any input you have really does help. So again, thank you, Chris. Appreciate your time. And with that, we will say goodbye.